Welcome back to Fire Force Anime Review, episode number 11. This one I'm covering the 15th episode anime, The Blacksmith's Dream, and the 194th and 195th chapter respectively, Indomitable and Suddenly Turn Around. Yep, that's simply put what I'm going to cover for this episode. Yeah, one episode and two chapters. The reason why that it's like this is, well, I think that 194 was supposed to release last week, but I think it was released last week, but wasn't uploaded this week yet. That's how I get the stuff. Okay, now in the case of this episode itself, it finishes up chapter 154, and it goes straight through and tapping the entirety of chapters 54, 52, 53, 54, all three chapters fully, and they stop at page 10 of chapter 55. Mostly put in the case at the beginning of the episode, it just opens up with the two members of the evangelist group, the white clad members, just walking through the base operations, meeting up with their leader, who happens to be Shira's younger brother, and mentioning about debriefing of what happened in last week's episode, and says, next time we go out, I'm going with you. And that's the scene. It's, even in the manga, this is roughly like 2 pages. The episode itself basically expanded this to about a full, 2 minutes. And this episode does have a new, opening sequence in a way. It's not like the way it was the first 14 episodes of Skulls and they kind of get debriefing. Here, it's basically a lot different. You see a lot more, burning in this one. Yep. The opening title sequence feels like basically a rock song. I don't mind it all, but it's something different for this series, which, yeah, after having seen the same opening title sequence for the past 14 episodes, it's good we have a new one. The ending is okay. The ending theme is okay, but as for the episode itself, right after they do that, they pretty much go straight back to operations. Now, mostly put, this particular episode does keep a lot of this stuff. There's a few minor changes. Take for example when they're at the Fire Force headquarters. Yeah, there's actually an update to the damn building. Yes, there's actually the words Fire Force written on the left side of it, which actually this is not from the manga. This is actually original to the show itself, and I think it's interesting now. The way they introduce this is quite interesting. You have just the captain of Squad 5, I think her name is Hebra. You have her Okita and the lieutenant just walking the hallway, and you see walking by the part of the building that says Fire Force. Yep. And then we have sort of the briefing scene. This scene is where they introduce the character to the group, Victor. Not technically his first appearance in the anime. His first appearance, I think, is back in episode 3 or 4. He's voiced by Ian St. Clair in the dub, which I think he does a really good job. Despite the fact this character so far has not appeared very much. Though I should point out, though, this guy will still appear for the rest of the series. Yeah, along with a new character. There's actually, believe it or not, in this episode, they introduced 3 new characters to the anime, which I'll get to them soon. Yep. Now, when you have Victor just checking out Shira's feet, they actually added something here that's actually not in the anime, in the manga. Because I think she was planning on stepping on Victor's feet, Victor's hand. She accidentally stepped on the man she loves feet by pure accident. And, there's a little, X mark on it. Yeah, it's quite hilarious, the fact that she did this. And you gotta at least appreciate, though, she's actually wearing a completely different outfit than she has been. Because ever since she showed up prior to most recently, it's ever since Shira changed her, she's wearing a completely different outfit. And she stopped wearing out her fan. Yeah, she stopped wearing it around, which I thought was quite interesting. Yep. I appreciate, though, the fact they kept her, that she's very protective of Shira because she's in love with him. Yeah, and she's one of several women being played with love with Shira. She's one of several women who has a thing for Shira, but she's the one who actually openly admits that she's actually in love with Shira. The other woman who I think has a thing for Shira is Sister Iris, Maki, and Tabaki. Yeah, these 4 women all are in love with Shira. 3 is very heavily implied. Hibatsu basically is, well, definitely known. She makes things perfectly. Yeah. And mostly put, because now they do change his title a bit. Because in the manga, they refer to him as the director of chemistry. Here, he's just basically the head scientist. Yeah, it just is a slight wording change, but mostly put, it's exactly the same. Yep, and they actually do make a little slight change. They kind of move one thing here and then show it later. When chapter 55 begins, they have this little flashback sequence up before Shira. Now, basically, there's this new guy named Vulcan, which they picked him in the anime as a redhead. Yeah, they actually show this guy in the opening style sequence, and he's already working with Fire Force. I think this was a mistake on the part of the people who actually made the series by showing him he's already part of Fire Force. Yes, because, well, in the manga, he currently is part of Fire Force. In the anime, he hasn't gotten there yet. Not to the end of this arc, of course. The arc, of course, is basically called Vulcan's Workshop. Yes, this episode finally starts adapting this particular arc. If you're wondering how long this arc is in the manga, this arc is roughly 15 chapters. Mostly put when when they adapt the first 3 chapters of the arc, it's mostly the same. There's not much change here at all. With the scene when they introduced Victor to the group, that's actually the end of chapter 51 right there. And then mostly this episode is like almost entirely 52 to 54, and like the first 10 pages of, well, minus of course the first page, like pages 2 through 10 of chapter 55, because they moved the first page to like a particular portion of the episode. Now, they do cut out actually something from the manga. Yes. They actually cut out the opening 2 pages of chapter 52. Yes, for some reason they cut that out. Yeah, but mostly put, they kept everything else in. Yeah, they cut out the flashback of Victor having his conversation with Joker. Yep, they cut that off from the episode for some reason. I have no idea why. Yeah, simply put, Shira, Arthur, and Sister Iris are sent out to recruit Vulcan, because the guy is basically a genius and need him on his side. So he also tells them, don't go in Fire Force clothes, go in civvies. In the case of Shira, this is the first time he's wearing something that's not his Fire Force outfit since the pilot episode. Yes. For Sister Iris, she's never been shown to wear anything else. Not that I can think of, no. Kind of the same thing with Arthur. Yeah, he's also another character who actually has never worn anything. Well, actually, this is the first time since his debut appearance back in episode 2, he's actually something besides his Fire Force attire. In case you're wondering, is Tabaki in this episode? The answer is yes. She's here for a brief cameo. I love Moki, but they don't really do anything in this episode. No, they don't. I think they have some lines here and there, but they don't really contribute to the plot itself. So, yeah, they go out and see Vulcan. They find him. They know where he is. He goes to a junk. They go to a junkyard where Vulcan is, and you see mention about how about an elephant, because apparently animals just roaming the land. Yeah, this whole episode basically is kind of like a PSA for animals, basically how good animals are. So, and apparently Vulcan has got a reputation for turning down offers from Hydra Industries. It's a company that basically gives technical support to the Fire Force companies, and of course who work for the Empire, the Tokyo Empire itself, and of course he turned on the Fire Force brigades. Now, when Vulcan is introduced, yeah, his introduction is simply put no change here. It's just him coming out of the workshop wearing the skull, like I think it's like a bull mask. Yeah, basically a bull skull mask. And yeah, though they added the fact that he's a redhead now. Now, I don't know exactly what he was originally supposed to be, what color hair he's supposed to be, because as far as I can tell, I've never found a data book mentioning exactly what color his hair is supposed to be. But I don't mind the fact he is a redhead, because here's kind of the thing when it comes to Japanese anime. It's rare I find a character who has red hair. As for anime I've watched, which characters have red hair, like, let's say, Naruto, for example. Who's the first person that comes to mind in that series who's got red hair? Naruto's smoking hot mom. Yeah, she's the only character in the series who actually has red hair. In DBZ, is there any character who's got red hair in that series? Off the top of my head, no. Nobody in the Dragon Ball franchise actually has red hair that I can think of. No. Not really. Bleach? Red hair? Renji. Yeah, yeah, in that series, Renji. For Fairy Tail, it's Urza. And I think Urza is like the only one who actually does have red hair. For One Piece, I'm trying to think. I know Captain Kidd has got red hair. Let me think here. I don't think there's anybody else in the series who's got red hair. No, I don't think Gecko Mario's got red hair. No. That's all I can think of for One Piece who's got red hair. Black Clover, nobody I can think of for that series. JoJo, none. None that I can think of, anyways. Blue Exorcist, none. As far as I can tell, I think actually no, Sharon's a blonde. So Blue Exorcist, actually, Pandora Heart does not have a redhead in that series. No, not actually. Sharon is a redhead. I don't remember what color Sharon's. I think she's a blonde. In the case of Magic Kaido, nobody really. Not many series I've watched where you have characters have red hair. It's a rarity because what's usually the hair you usually see for characters in anime? Usually they're blondes or raven hair, color hair, or occasionally brunettes. Not much for redheads. Redheads is a person with red hair is very rare in the series. Now, the thing with Vulcan is he's a very well built guy. That's the thing when it comes to series. They're not overly muscular like some of our series are. The guy looks like he's in great shape for a man his age. He looks by the same age as Okanai. And of course, he's got like little tattoo marks on his arms or on his neck. Excuse me. And we also get a chance to see his sort of apprentice in the episode. I don't remember the character's name. And he kind of gives his backstory. He just basically likes Vulcan's work, so he basically volunteered to work for him, become his apprentice. And, well, they bring him into the workshop. Now, there is a slight change here. There is another visual change to make. Basically, there's this machine that throws cans at the characters. Iris, luckily enough, did not get hit with a freaking can. For some reason, it hit Shira and it hit Arthur, but for some reason, it did not hit Iris for some reason. Yeah, they also did cut out the hilarious scene of Shira walking up to Lisa and poking at her breast. Yes. It's like, is this a machine? Poke, poke. Yeah, and of course, he gets smacked for it. In the anime, yeah, they actually cut out this scene. I would not be surprised if somehow they hilariously put this into next week's episode. As for Lisa herself, she is also I believe she's also redhead, and yes, she has the same. In case you're wondering, if you watch the episode, is the outfit she wears in the episode the same outfit she wears in the manga? The answer is yes. Vulcan also puts on a T-shirt that says animals on it. Yeah, so they're inside his workshop for a little while. Of course, they mention all of his inventions, which this also is true. He gets to meet up briefly with the captain of Company 3, who is a rival of his, who's someone he knows for years. And he doesn't trust him because you sold your soul for fame and money. For power and money. Yeah, it's mostly put the same as in the manga. Yep, and then like they show off his special animal 3D exhibit, which is beautiful, and high praise for David Studio for keeping this very accurate how it depicted in the manga. Yep, and then the episode, well, the boat goes back to the workshop and they should leave, and then the episode ends with Shira basically using ability he used the reveal he had last week's episode, where he can detect that the Captain Squad 3 wants to kill Vulcan. And that's where the episode ends. The next episode is called We Are Family. Overall, for this episode, I at least gotta give praise to the fact the studio, for changes they make, it's mostly it's like mostly two minor changes. They do cut out some stuff, but not like most for a few episodes. They kind of rearrange stuff where they also kind of merge some seeds, which I thought was kind of dumb. But mostly put, this episode is much better than it has been lately. Yeah, it was looked like it for a few rushed ones, but it's very good. Now talk about newest chapter manga. First up in Indomitable, chapter 184. Chapter starts off with Shira using a new ability. Voltage Nova against Captain Barnes. Yeah, that's the guy's name. He's the captain of Squad 1. And he defeats him. Yeah. Surprisingly, you see a brief flashback of Shira's mom and his little brother. And then you see his brother his current age. And then you see Joker. Yeah, Joker's here. Shiro makes a brief cameo appearance. He doesn't do anything in this chapter. Hits him really hard. And he pretty much defeats him. Yep. And he actually admits, yeah, of course he's sweating. And Captain Burns actually admits that he actually knew all along that he was the same boy from years prior. So he remembers him. I have, but not even more so. You've gotten stronger. You didn't dodge any of my attacks. Why? Youngsters like yourself who rebel against the world, this old man will have just come to gripes with it. And Joker apparently is now not exactly a villain per se, but he's on the side. Yeah, voiced by the awesome Sonny Surratt. What a reckless way to live. The evangelist is the world's voice, huh? If the world doesn't be destroyed by God, then the only thing a man like me do is comply. The eve of mind can only destroy the past. Somehow you'll change and overcome this world. See a lot of smoke and ruins. Receives some white clamors like it's coming. A new pillar is born. An Andromeda League. And then Captain Barnes gets stabbed by a demon through the frickin' heart. Yep, that's how the chapter ends. Him getting stabbed through the frickin' chart. Like through his back of chest, yeah. And that's the chapter ends. Now moving on to the newest chapter. Chapter 185 if I can get there. So then turn around. Chapter surprisingly enough. Let's see. Yeah, it does pick up right where last left off. Yeah, we have the demon. Don't know who this person is. Yeah. And then we see some members from Squad 1. And they do a bit of research into Rekka. Rekka is... He was technically the main villain of the Verse Company 1 arc. Yeah, he was technically the main villain. And they're doing research. I'm like, really? Like, that arc happened a long time ago. I mean, is a writer now finally getting to this? You know that it's been like... Well, not since the end of chapter 32 they actually... Well, done anything with this. Is probably the first anything with this. So apparently, one of the lieutenants said, I dug up Rekka's service report documents. I looked to his past records from when he was working and when he was off the clock. Found something weird. What do you mean? What'd you find? Rekka off to visit orphanage. It's likely the one that Captain Hinaba and Sister Iris from was used as a doppelganger experiment, meaning Rekka was involved with the doppelganger incidents. Which basically also kind of confirms that he was responsible for the massacre. Yep, of little girls who were made nuns being killed. You see, I think it's I think it's Moki seeing a dragon. He sees a dragon. Ah, this please stay back. What does he hear me like? Maki! Yeah, I think it's Lieutenant. Basically, the dragon fires at him. Maki, of course, basically blocks it. Most look like she's about to be eviscerated. It takes a part of the building. Looks like huh? We're alive? Moki, you heard? Where you go, so huh? I thought I hit this for sure. Was that Evangelist Grace? Better say about Maki. Yeah, Victor's like, huh? Yeah, they see the lieutenant looking over at the White Clan members. Yeah, that went well. Company has worked hard. Just as planned, Dean was born from Burns has risen. Now I'll give it to everyone except the pillars. Captain Burns ensures like Captain Burns to stand back. Wait, Shira. Except Shira, the rest of you is up to you, 5-2. Demon got no version of oneself. Shira, remember why you came in the first place. You know long a little bit who he has. Go, Shira. Let's Burn resist. He has already. Yeah, and he starts praying. Then he just goes to another dimension. Just don't look back. That joke tells him. White camera says, everyone, kill everyone who is the pillar. It's over, company B. Why, huh? Yep, and then you have, believe it or not, even when I saw this, I'm like, what? And then of course, last moment, someone comes in. You evildoers, this town. Wait, that's not right. Just a moment. Actually, it says in English. I am the one called Moonlight Mask. The gambling and street fights are my love. A situation, a helping hand appears. Just what in the world are the true intentions of the man who manipulates English? Next, Moonlight Mask. Yeah, I know who this guy is. It's the captain of Squad 7. Like, okay, what is up with this silly looking mask? Yeah, that's pretty much what he looks like. Like, what? I can tell because of the freaking tire. Yeah, I gotta say, for these two chapters, really, really good. Love them. It feels as though we're getting much more advanced than we have been in the past few chapters. Yep, I'm excited for the next chapter, Moonlight Mask, which hopefully will come out next week. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. My next review will be another movie review. Will be review the very first movie of the MCU. Okay. Before until I see you next review. Bye.